You ever think about money and wonder, what if we could just start over? I mean, really redesign it from the ground up, not based on centuries of history, but on a single core value. Well, today we're going to explore one blueprint that tries to do exactly that. All right, so you don't kick off a project like this by thinking small, right? This is literally the opening line from the source material we're looking at. Talk about ambition. We're talking about one single financial system for every single person on Earth. So let's just run with that for a second. Let's make it a thought experiment. If you were in charge, what would you build money around? Would it be stability, fairness, or maybe freedom? The blue part we're going to look at picked one of these, and that one choice, well, it changes everything.
Okay, so this blueprint, it's for something called the Global Equitable Currency, GEC for short. Let's dig in and see what that's all about.
So here's the official definition, right out of its own constitution. The big words to pull out here are universal, and yeah, they mean for everyone, everywhere, and algorithmically regulated. That just means its rules are baked into the code. There's no central bank pulling the strings. And the whole point, the big goal, to serve humanity first. Now, to make sure a system like this actually sticks to that goal, it's built on a foundation of 7 core principles. You can kind of think of these as the Constitution, the unbreakable rules of the game.
And check this out. The very first principle, the one at the top of the list, is freedom first. This is the system's North Star. Everything else points back to this. According to the source material, every single piece of the puzzle we're about to look at is designed with one thing in mind: maximizing freedom.
Okay, so that's the why. Now let's get into the nitty-gritty, the how. How does this stuff actually work, and how is it different from the cash in your wallet? It really boils down to a few really interesting mechanics. First up, there's something called a value anchor. So you know how the value of a dollar goes up and down? Well, GEC is different. One unit of it is always pegged to a specific basket of essential stuff. We're talking housing, food, energy, healthcare. The whole idea is to basically neutralize inflation for the things you absolutely need to live. So in theory, your core cost of living, it would just stay the same. Next, we've got a concept called demarriage. It sounds complicated, but it's not. Just think of it like a tiny, tiny fee for letting your money just sit there doing nothing. It's almost like playing hot potato with your cash. It gives you a little nudge to spend it, invest it, or just use it. The core idea is that money flowing is better than money hoarded, because a flowing economy gives everyone more freedom to actually participate. And that whole keep the money moving idea leads us right to the next piece, the currency cap. Basically, the system has a built-in limit, a maximum amount of GEC that any one person or entity can hold. Now, the goal here isn't to punish success, not at all. It's about preventing that extreme concentration of wealth that can, end up limiting everyone else's freedom. So what happens to the extra cash? Any funds over that cap get automatically redirected to help fund public services for everybody. Which brings us to probably the most direct impact this would have on people's lives. See, all those mechanics we just talked about, they aren't just for making the economy stable. They're actually designed to be the engine that funds a whole new kind of social safety net. And here's how it all connects. This is the engine. You've got new currency being issued. You have those little demurrage fees coming in. And you have the overflow from that currency cap. It all gets collected into one big central pool. And then what? It gets distributed equally to every single verified person on the planet as a universal basic income, or UBI. But the vision here, it's actually bigger than just UBI. The system is also designed to fund guaranteed access to essential services. We're talking healthcare, education, housing, the big stuff. The blueprint lays out how these could be provided automatically, all through the same transparent, open protocols. Okay, so I know what you're thinking. A system this massive, this ambitious, it raises some huge questions, right? Like, what happens if there's a major crisis? Or what's to stop some powerful group from just taking it over? Well, the design actually anticipates this, with 2 different sets of safeguards. First off, it's designed to be crash-proof. The money supply can automatically adjust itself to keep your purchasing power stable. There are global reserves set aside for emergencies. And that currency cap we mentioned earlier, that's also a stability feature.
preventing the kind of massive wealth hoarding that can throw an entire economy off balance.
And second, it's designed to be control-proof. This is a big one. There's no central authority to lean on or corrupt. The rules are just code, open source code that anyone can look at. The whole point is to make it pretty much impossible for any single government or corporation or any group, really, to manipulate the system or kick people out. But, what if the rules do need to change over time? Well, that's where governance comes in. It's all handled by what's called a DAO, a Decentralized Autonomous Organization. And here is the really key difference from other systems. Your voting power isn't based on how much money you have. It's weighted based on your participation and what you contribute to the network. It's a totally different kind of democratic setup. So let's just do a quick recap of the big, innovative ideas here. You've got a design that puts freedom first, above everything else. It's got a mechanism for fixed purchasing power, which means no more inflation on the essentials. It has a sustainable, built-in universal basic income. It has a currency cap to prevent that crazy wealth accumulation. And it's designed from the ground up to be both crash-proof and control-proof. That's a lot.
Now, look, whether a system like this is actually possible or not is a huge debate. But just thinking about it forces us to ask a really powerful question. If we forget everything we think we know about money and just treat it like a piece of technology, like a tool that we can program, what should we program it to do for humanity? What instructions would you give it?